for being late. So, 599. Let's start off. It's good to see everyone. Good to see the rain. It's a nice rain out this morning. So. 599. Stepping into life. Trying to walk in the steps of the Savior, trying to follow our Savior and King, shaping our lives by His blessed example. Happy, how happy the songs that we bring. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior, stepping in the light. Stepping in the light, how beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior. Let His paths of mine, pressing more closely to Him who is leading when we are tempted to turn from the way. Trusting the arm that is strong to defend us. Happy, how happy our praises each day. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior, stepping in the light, stepping in the light. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior. Let His paths of light, walking in footsteps of gentle forbearance, footsteps of faithfulness, mercy, and love, looking to Him for the grace freely promised. Happy, how happy our journey above. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior, stepping in the light, stepping in the light. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior. Let His paths of mine, trying to walk in the steps of the Savior. Upward, still upward, we'll follow our guide. When we shall see Him, the King in His beauty, happy, how happy our place at His side. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior, stepping in the light, stepping in the light. How beautiful to walk in the steps of the Savior. Let His paths of mine. I did not look at that. You got it? Okay, thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we come to you once again on another first day of the week as we assemble here, thanking you for blessings you give us. We thank you, Lord, that you gathered us here this morning. Look into your word once more. Sing these songs of praise to you and worship you. Pray, Father, for those who weren't able to be here with us this morning for reasons of illness, your will, their help. Pray, Father, for the teachers this morning. Pray for every member of this congregation that you will help us to rightly divide your word and the right. Blessing will be on our upcoming gospel meeting. Preach that. Present your word in a way that people can understand later. Pray, Father, now that the beginning of this service will be with us. Guide us in all. Watch over us. Give us as we sin. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen. Now have our class. always think I have plenty of time, no matter where I'm going. And I'm usually wrong. It drives my wife crazy. It drives my boss at work crazy too.
Is your wife the one that's always out in the car beating the horn, telling you to hurry up?
No, she's usually sitting there in disgust. Which I don't have much of a counterattack. It's just that's kind of, so I don't know why it is. We'd done with our work at home growing up, we would literally run to the shower as fast as we could, run to the wherever we were going all the time, and I guess I've just never stopped being on time, not early, so apologize for that. So I'd like to wrap up faith today. I should have done it a couple weeks ago, but I see a nugget or a shining star, this book that I'm following. It's for youth, but there's so many good questions in it. And I did ask that to think about some of the ways that we can demonstrate our faith to others, and we're finish up today on that. But first, I would like to just look a little bit about our youth. There's a question in there about what their struggles are going to be with as they grow up and as they go to high school and college and everything else. And it's even in the elementary schools, I'm sure. And it's just some of the stuff that's going on. But last week we talked a little bit about the infallible truths and the witnesses that seen Christ after he was resurrected. And we talked about Cornelius and the fact of the chosen few. And that's something that I thought about this week. And I lost another friend. Dean Hetrick passed away this week, and good friend. I mentioned him a couple weeks ago, and really a second brother to me growing up. But I just thought, why me? Yeah. I'm trying not to be emotional here, but why was I chosen to be part of the church? And I thought it was going to be good, but I will be. But it's just, some of us are generations and generations in the church. Some are maybe 3 or 4, as the Sigwarts are, in the church. I'm a first generation in the church. But how did we get chosen to be here? Why? And maybe God's expectations were a little high when he chose me, because I don't think I've come through on.
Put yourself down.
Well, but there's so many. All my friends and family, that's a bad thing,
You don't realize how much you help my faith by what you're doing, the zeal that you do. When you do your thing at the table, you can tell that it's heartfelt. It's coming from the heart, and that you guys and everybody else, not just you, but as one that's trying to, and Al and I've talked about this a lot lately since I've been working for him. But it's easy to for me anyway, when people strive to do what's right and are not causing a lot of strife. You know what I mean? But right now, this group, this of the Church of Christ here at Brookville is, I feel, close knit. And we're trying to do what's right. And I just appreciate guys like you that are willing to get up here and teach classes and do this stuff, and everybody else too. Everybody, Ken and Orr. Ken, has come a long way from where he was at. And I think he'll tell you that too. And we all need to keep striving for that. I'm far from,
for sure.
It's tough for me to get up there and teach. It really is, because I can't. For one thing, you've seen my notebook. It's and if I don't have it, I just get lost. And he's just complete opposite. He can get up there without anything and just rattle stuff off. I just drives me nuts when he does that, you know? But I can't remember stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's not easy for me to get up there and teach, you know? I mean, I do it. It's good. And then you said it too. It helps you become
Yeah,
stronger.
absolutely.
You got to get in there and dig. And that's what we all need to be doing. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's any better way for us to develop our faith to do that. Because faith comes by hearing, okay? And if we're not hearing, how are we going to have faith?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, you know, I just don't want you to, you know, you and everybody else that's striving to do, keep this thing going. Because I'm not going to be here forever, and that worries me too. That worries me. Because who's going to step up and keep this thing, you know?
Well, we've got some young guys that have showed up, and again, you know, why are we chosen?
Right, you know, I mean, I'm not
so we
trying to
need
single
to,
out you, but it's everybody.
yeah.
You know, but I just don't want you to feel that you're not,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I just, with my friends and family, that's where it really, and,
If I could add something here, you said it a couple weeks ago. Romans 1:10 says that the gospel is the power of God for salvation. And you know so many people who their attitude is, don't bother me with the gospel. So that if somebody can actually focus and look at what the message is, like you've done, it works. But if you can't get their attention,
yeah.
and that's where we are with a lot of, I'm not condemning your family. My family is in the same thing. We, you know, in the extended family, so on, they think they have all the answers, but they don't know the gospel. They don't know the death, burial, and resurrection. They don't know how we obey that. They don't know those things, and they aren't interested in hearing about it.
and how they tie to our salvation. I mean, and
So when somebody sat you down and you actually focused on that, the power was in the gospel. But we can't lose sight of that.
yeah, for sure. For sure. It just,
Real quick. So Rod talked about, you know, the encouragement that we get from other people, and I get a lot of encouragement from guys like you simply because of the fact that you, first of all, you were young whenever you became a Christian, relatively young, okay, and you figured this out. I know with the Schick family, I know got you started looking, but you made the decision to do it, okay, at a pretty young age, relatively speaking. But more importantly than that, not only did you make a decision to do it, you came from another denomination, made a decision to do it, and stuck with it. See, and a lot of people make a decision for whatever reason, and then they don't stick, or they just come, you know, they don't do nothing, you know, and so they don't grow. And this morning I was listening to Alan Webster, and I got a lot of encouragement out of what he said about Paul. When Paul was in front of Brookville, and they said, "Oh, once you persuaded me to be a Christian," he went through a whole litany of reasons why this guy could have said that. He had a governor sitting on one side, and he was, you know, wondering, and that guy, according to the Bible, he already had made his decision about Christianity. You know, they're crazy. You know, they believe in the resurrection. Somebody came back from the dead. You know, so he didn't want to look stupid in front of this guy. His wife, she was pretty bad. She ran around there with all kinds of people. So he didn't want her making. She was guaranteed she was against it. So he had all these outside pressures. And people don't want to make the decision a lot of times, except what the Bible says to do, because they have to change something, or they're afraid of what people are going to say about it. They go back to work. What do you mean you call the church of Christ? What do you mean? What did you just do? Stupid? You know, that's what they're afraid of. People's number one fear, other than public speaking, is fear of looking stupid. The fear of looking stupid is the
yeah.
number one thing.
Well, or, you know, and
That's
going against our parents and our family is not easy. And I will say that's one thing about the younger generation. They don't seem to have too much problem doing that, it seems like. So if we could get that channeled into, into God's eyes, into the gospel, would be great. So, but I mean, we all went through that. So, but I just, we didn't just show up here. You know what I mean? To me, we were chosen. We were, it was showed to us for a reason. And I guess that's my thing, that just like the witnesses, the people that were chosen to see Christ after, he was resurrected. I mean, we're chosen, so we have an obligation to continue to teach the word and to spread it. And I just, like I said, as I lose my friends, it's just like, there's another one, and that we didn't get to. And I know that's, Noah preached for 120 years. Am I right there?
Yeah.
And and I'm sure he had friends, and he had family, so just his immediate family. And I don't know how far along we were in the generations, but so. But anyway, just something that comes through my little head.
Talking to our family is the hardest thing to talk. Talk to your friends.
Yeah.
Your family is hard to talk to. I don't understand why it should be so hard. I guess we don't want to offend them or make them mad at us. None of my family. I had a brother. I know he hadn't been in church for 30, 40 years, but we try to tell him, or that's all.
Yeah.
And try to show him or tell him, it doesn't say that.
No.
They don't.
Yeah.
Want your life and what we're telling them different. So by showing in your own daily life how you're living, maybe that will get their attention. Right when I talk to you, it's been 7 years ago. And as far as I know, he's never been baptized, but he thinks he's saved.
Yeah.
Just try to explain to him. Why do you go all the time? I don't go all the time. I only go when the church door is open. I don't go up there during the week when there's nobody.
Yeah.
It is hard to talk to them for some reason.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think we get a bad rap because they think about a cappella singing. Why do you do that? Why do you do the Lord's Supper every Sunday? And stuff that they don't know about, that they have never been taught, that it's apostles gather together upon the first day of the week. Pretty simple. It tells us to sing and make melody in our hearts. It doesn't say anything about, in the Old Testament, every time there was an instrument involved, they told us what it was, right? I mean, I could be wrong about every time, but they generally told us what instrument. So they never told us there was what instrument was being used. They just said about our voices. And so that they forget that it's Christ's church. It's Christ's church. We are the church of Christ, but it's Christ's church. It's not some man's. We have congregations around here that they're known by the preacher. Oh, that's so-and-so's church. It's Christ's church. And if we could just get that shoved into people, that it's not us talking, it's Christ talking, it's His Word talking, and get away from the persona. Well, they think they're right. We're trying to live by the Bible. And if that makes us whatever, then that makes us whatever. But if we do it, we're going to make the heaven. And that's the goal. And so I don't know. But so we should probably move on. We're not going to get done. But that just, again,
Can I
have,
say one more?
yeah, sure.
Kim and I were just talking about this on the way in here this morning. It's funny how the spirit moves in certain ways.
It does.
And it was family, not going to different churches and all this and that. And I said to her, if somebody could explain to me, like Luke chapter 6:46, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? If somebody could explain to me, why did he put that verse in there if nothing mattered what we were doing? If everything was okay down on the corner down here or wherever, why did he put that in there? If you don't do, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do the things that I say? What does the Bible tell you to do? And if you don't do that, why are you calling him Lord?
Yeah.
Because evidently it matters.
Yeah, it does.
Like
I say, before I started to come to this congregation, I didn't realize how important it was. Because not all the churches are, make it a point to be precise in our teaching and our learning and our doing. Because again, they don't want it to make it hard. We can't make it hard. And it's not hard to do good. It's not hard to do what Christ, God asks us. But when we hit a bump in the road, and that's where really what the whole sense of this learning about faith and our faith is, when we hit a bump in the road, that's when that faith is tested. And people around us can see, hey, he's handling that a little different than most people, or she's doing all right, she's doing good, or whatever, you know what I mean? And it just, that's what this is all about. And yeah, like I say, once you learn it, it's easy for us to understand it. But until you're ready to give in to everything that God says, and again, you'd be surprised if you've seen the lessons that the Methodists put out.
I think that's what Alan said there. People just don't realize that gospel means something. As long as they do John 3:16, for God so loved the world, and whosoever believes in him shall be saved. Well, that's just one part.
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah. So what he's saying, people can't get by it, can't get past it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you get to
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it was Tom or who years ago did I think Johnny Myers actually did a lesson one time on the simplicity of the Bible and really where it's at. Yeah, there's some things I don't understand real well. And there's a reading here later on. I had to get a concordance out, and I had to think about it. But to get to heaven, to be saved, is pretty simple. It's not. It doesn't take a scholar to figure that out. So the last question or last thing I want to deal with, and it does. The title was that the destruction of faith is a great threat to young people in their life situations. And basically, as they go through the school system and then take off for college, and it says unbelief occurs when the young venture into areas of education experience where assaults upon faith in God and the ways are made by those of authority, and his ways are made by those of authority. And we talk a little bit about this down in class with the young people, and it's like you have to learn what they're saying and fill in the questions, fill in the blanks. but we absolutely don't have to agree with it. We don't have to think twice about it after we've learned it and did what they expect us to do. And that's easy to say, but just want to let's look at Hebrews 3 a little bit here. 3:7 through 15. And this says, my subtitle says, be faithful. And the question is, what is the end of unbelief? Like the end result of unbelief, and where does it originate? And verse 12 will tell us that. So please follow along. Hebrews 3:7 through 15. Therefore, as the Holy Spirit says, and that's kind of telling us that it is inspired. David was inspired, as this is from Psalms 95. Today, if you will hear his voice, do not be hardened. Do not harden your hearts as in rebellion. In the day of trial in the wilderness, where your fathers tested me and tried me, and saw my works 40 years. Therefore I was angry at that generation, and said, they always go astray in their hearts, and they have not known my ways. So I swore in my wrath that they shall not enter my rest. Beware, brethren, lest be in any of you an evil heart, unbelief in departing from the living God. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast of the end. Steadfast of the end. While it is said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion. So, what is the end result of unbelief? Verse 12. It's a kind of a weird question, but it's asking what's the results of an unbelieving heart, and departing from the living God, that he's not gonna know us. Verse 11. So I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest, and that's going to be us or whoever, if we have an unbelieving heart. And where does it originate from? And it originates from our heart and what we believe. And it's just something we have to instill in our young people, that they have a good base. And like the classes that we have, the lads, the leaders, is going to just be so vital for them now. And so I think we're on the right path as a congregation to try and train our young people. I mean, even I think from when our kids went through, the last group went through 15 years ago. Okay, almost 20 years ago. It's been 20 years ago. It's changed a lot, and so it's just up to us to do the best we can to help them through. So, any thoughts on that?
What do you think he means by evil heart? I mean, is he talking about somebody that's just downright evil? I mean, just a really bad person? Maybe we better figure out what.
Well, that's a good question. I didn't look too much at it, but
I have a reference that goes from that to 2 Peter 2:14. It says, having eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin, enticing unstable souls. They have a heart trained in covetous practices and are cursed and are cursed children. They, in verse 50, they have forsaken the right way, gone astray, following the way of Balaam. I mean, talking about the Old Testament. But it sounds like an evil heart is just everyday things that we deal with, that lead us away from God.
Yeah.
Is what I get.
Yeah.
Reading verse 12 there, evil heart and unbelief, departing from the
Leaving.
From the living God, you're going to have evil heart automatic. And when you read there in Peter, I think it said about departing from departing from God for everything. Anytime you're away from God,
Yeah. And that's, our education has unfortunately followed that way. I mean, I mean, the beginning of this all happened when they took the Bible out of the,
I'm just going to say,
I mean,
we used to, first thing in our class in junior high was our teacher set us all down and we read the Bible.
yeah.
I saw something posted recently. I asked these a couple of just quiz questions, and then I studied it a little more, and I taught it to Allie on the way to Indiana yesterday for the youth rally. And what do you measure? Do you measure hot or cold? Scientifically, do you measure hot or cold? Heat. You actually measure heat. You don't measure cold. You might say 32 degrees is freezing. That's based on the lack of heat. Okay? Scientifically, you measure heat, and absolute zero is, I think, something negative 345 degrees Fahrenheit. Absolute zero, nothing. There's that temperature. What do you measure? Light or dark? You measure light. Dark. They never, scientifically, they've never got to exact absolute no light. Okay, absolute dark. Never got. So you measure heat, instead of cold. You measure light, instead of darkness. You have God, and you have good. What you have. You can only measure good.
Yeah.
Good based on God. That's how you measure good. So absolute good, you have something that was made up, that belief. So cold, and that was what I studied. It's actually just a word made up to describe the lack of the darkness is something that is just to explain the lack of light. And therefore, bad is just a bad evil made up to explain.
Very good.
That makes sense. It made sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. Somebody posted on Facebook. I looked up to see was it true. Maybe it was true.
Yeah. No, very good. Very good analogy. So, does anyone have, so I can wrap this up. Does anyone have thoughts on what ways we can demonstrate our faith as we kind of wrap things up here? Oh, yeah, Mark, sorry.
They say they don't take Bibles out of school, but you go to hotels anymore. They used to have a Bible in the hotels. Now they don't anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that happened either. But, yeah. Sorry about that. I seen your hand. But in what ways can we demonstrate our faith to others? And I mentioned about our hardships. I think that's the biggest thing that because even when something happens at the spur of the moment at work, sometimes it's hard to show our faith, But so.
James says, I'll show you my faith by my word.
Wow.
And when we think about work, it's what God tells us to do. I think often about that story we looked at, like the old prophet and the young prophet. How the young prophet was sent up there and told, don't eat anything
Yeah, that is awesome, that story for us. It makes perfectly good sense. You know, you're gonna dehydrate, you're gonna have struggle health-wise getting back. I mean, you have to eat something. And that's the way we look at God sometimes. We have to do this, or you know what I mean? It makes perfect sense to do it this way.
Yeah, but
And,
I didn't believe those lies, but they sound pretty good. They come from somebody you think ought to know.
yeah, somebody of authority, somebody like you'd said, has a doctrine and Bible, or, I mean,
I was just
so,
gonna say, I don't think God would have let them die on the way back. He would have provided for them.
He would have.
You know, that,
He absolutely would
he
have.
didn't have the faith
Yeah.
in to do that.
It's like the wanderings that, how many times did they start to complain like God was going to forget them, and He always provided for them. So,
I don't know, that verse in 1 John 2 starts in 15, says, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. I think that's probably where it pretty much starts. We want to do everything we want to do, and if God gets in the way, it doesn't matter. I don't.
well, it's a sacrifice, that a lot of people aren't willing to make, commitment and conviction, just,
Probably a big part of it, right?
so we have lots of excuses we can make. We can justify everything we do. We all do that, no matter what it is. We have a way of justifying it, but we're not going to be able to justify our way into heaven. We're going to have to get it done. So.
I think one of the ways to show our faith is, like Bob said, doors are open, we should be. Not open, and we need to do. Doors are open, we should do our best to be. I think that's the start of it. Showing faith. In other words, we choose to put ourselves in a position. I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to anybody else. I don't need to hear organization. Buildings here, people, being around people. You take it out. I was for 8.5 years. Didn't have an opportunity for this. Makes you understand why God put us together. Encouragement to give each other. Just being able to help each other.
Yeah.
That's why the doors are open.
Well, and that's absolutely true. And you're a very good witness what you went through, and show that you learn to appreciate.
Not really think about that, but people, someone may say, about, you don't need to go, I'm blind. That's the thing, actually, for us, desiring to be here, all God, we're sending out there so many people that know that we are gathered together, touching so many, not even knowing they're touching them, because you text somebody and say, oh, sorry, didn't respond, I was in a private line. You don't think that, oh, wow, that actually, it actually planted a seed right there.
Yeah.